Hi everyone, it's Simon Keeling here, weatherweb.net. Thanks again for watching. Now, as always, this site is kept free of charge, and these videos are able to be produced by us providing advertising through the site, you supporting those adverts and coming back and using the site regularly. That's what means that we can keep it all free of charge, so thanks for doing that. It's Thursday the 16th of May, and we're looking ahead just to see how the weather develops in the medium to longer term. And very difficult to get a handle on things just at the moment. I've been looking back at the analogue prediction charts, and this is from the Canadian Ensemble as run at midnight last night, and it focuses on the 24th of May. So this is the prediction, for the 25th of May. So this is a prediction for the 25th of May. And then what it does, it goes back and looks at previous years. And what I've done is just taken the top 5 of these previous years. Then what I've done is to project forward 2 weeks from those. So for example, the top year here coming in again is 1962. So it's saying there that this is the 10th of June 1962, which had a similar pressure pattern to this. So what I've then done is added 14 days onto that, and then meaned out what the pressure flow was like during those 14 days. So it would be from the 11th of June through to the 25th of June. Okay, so just to give us an idea of how things look during the month period running ahead from these charts. Now, this is how the ensemble is predicting things to look in 8 days' time. This is how it predicts things to look on the 23rd of May. And you'll notice here that it's bringing in a northeasterly flow across the country. We've got this ridge of high pressure building in across the top. It's got low pressure across continental Europe. Now, by no means do the models agree on how this is going to be developing. For example, here's the Canadian for the same period, and you notice the Canadian's got a deep trough look in here, and low pressure centred across the British Isles with the ridge out towards the west. And then this is the ECMWF, again, deep trough in here, look, low pressure out towards the east, ridge out towards the west. So big discrepancy between the various different model runs, and I've got to say, none of them really look as if they've got a handle on this at all to me in where we go in the middle to the end part of next week and beyond. So let's take a look at the analogues and just see what they did. This is the mean sea level pressure from 1962. So this is after their day plus 8. What happened in the 14 days after that? So this would be the equivalent. What we're going to look at here is the equivalent of today plus 8 days. So it's the 16 plus 8 days. So we're going to look at the 24th. So this would be the 24th of May period, running through until what? Is it the 3rd of June? So it's that period there, running up to the early part of June, if we were looking at this year. So 1962, look, builds a ridge across the country from high pressure centre to the west. It has this trough feature here out towards the east with low pressure. Now that would bring largely fine conditions across the country, particularly across Ireland, across Wales and across England, some rain up towards the north. This is the same for 1991. Look at that, almost an exact copy. High pressure off southwestern parts of Ireland, ridge built through the British Isles. Here's the trough out towards the east. There's the area of low pressure, almost a carbon copy. So sunny spells, dry, particularly in the south. Bit of rain perhaps across northern Scotland, but for most it's dry. Next up was 1999, and well, this one is a little bit of a tricky one because there's a ridge here. Okay, so we've got a ridge there that's centred from high pressure out towards the east. A little bit of a high perhaps in here somewhere. And low pressure kind of stuck in here. So 1999, not so useful. 2002, well, high pressure's off towards the southwest. Got a ridge across the south of the country. Low pressure in here, and certainly low pressure tending to dominate things. Although this in here, this area here, a very slack pressure flow, but you see again the ridge down to the south. And then finally 1976, remember the summer of 1976, look at this, ridge back in across the UK, low pressure here, low pressure here. So remarkable agreement there, because 4 out of 5 are almost matched up with what the pressure pattern was like following this forecast. Only one of them kind of stands out a little bit, but even that isn't way off the mark. So how does this stack up with where things go this year? Okay, so how does it bode for this year? Well, this is the ECMWF on the left here. This is the GFS on the right. It's the mean of the 7 to 10 day flow from next Thursday through to Sunday the 26th. And what I want you to notice on here is the ECMWF builds the ridge out in the Atlantic. It has this deep trough though through the UK and then continues the ridge up towards the north here. The GFS has the trough in the Atlantic, but this ridge is angled and the trough is down, look, through Spain. The GFS looks far more like what we've just seen on the analogue charts. So I'm starting to think, is this period from about the 24th onwards, are we going to see a ridge building from the west, fair conditions across much of the UK, dry conditions too, with sunshine, never particularly warm, but dry and sunny. Could we find the southeast going into a northeast flow with some spots of rain? The far north of Scotland sees rain passing by given fronts. Also, what's interesting on this chart is the trough that's over Scandinavia, because that's the low pressure in Scandinavia that's showing on all the analogue charts. It's this chart from the ECMWF that stands out on its own. So I think the GFS, this one, probably is leaning in the way that the forecasts are going to go. And it's picking up as well on where the long range CFS has gone, which is that lower than normal heights are to the south, higher than normal heights to the north. That seems to be the way the pattern has been progressing. And then just finally, let's bring the MJO back into this. Does that tell us anything? Well, not really, because what it does is it's in the borderline here, phase 4 to phase 5, and that's basically the Atlantic, the positive Atlantic oscillation just collapsing down, and it tends to show more evidence of a ridge in the Atlantic. But it doesn't even get into phase 5, look, because then it just shoots into this neutral territory and kind of hangs around. So it doesn't even give us any indications there. And it seems that this idea of this transitional flow into this ridging coming in from the Atlantic seems to be the one that we need to go with right now. Hi everyone, thanks for watching. It's Simon Keeling here at weatherweb.net. Now, just a reminder that we're able to keep the site free of charge because of the adverts that you see around the screen here. And by you coming back and using the site and using the adverts, it's that keeps us free of charge. Now, I've been playing over the last few hours trying to get a fix on where the weather is going to be going at the end of May and into the early part of June. And I'll show you more information on that through the forecast that we've got here. But it is churning up some fascinating results.